Hello, and welcome to Biblical Scrolls, where we take a deeper dive into the hard to interpret, the obscure, or even the misinterpreted passages of Scripture. We will also look at apocryphal and pseudepigraphal texts and other historical manuscripts. We'll be using a variety of sources, so if you're committed to just one version of the Bible, this channel may not be for you. Now let's dig into today's passage. Today's passage is Genesis 9:18 through 25, and we'll read that in the ESV. It says, "The sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the people of the whole earth were dispersed. Noah began to be a man of the soil, and he planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and walked backwards, and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned backwards, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his youngest son had done to him, he said, 'Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers.'" So, this is a familiar story and one that really puzzled people for a while. Why is this passage in the Bible at all? Well, I'm going to give you the most common views on what is going on here and hopefully clear up some confusion. If you are not familiar with the idiomatic expressions in biblical Hebrew, you could easily miss what is going on here. The first view is that Ham was just looking at Noah's naked body, or voyeurism. But this fails to explain why there is a curse on Canaan and not Ham. Also in the culture, the accidental sight of a naked parent isn't considered taboo, and nowhere else in the Hebrew Old Testament does this idea have support. This view is a conservative view and a popular view for centuries. The second view is castration, the idea that Ham went into Noah's tent and castrates him. This is a rabbinic idea about the passage. This is an act of a son castrating his father to usurp authority. This provides some rational, although complex, view of the curse of Canaan. Noah curses Ham's fourth son, Canaan, because Ham deprives Noah of the fourth son. But what is lacking in Genesis 9 is any hint that would suggest castration. The third view is that the sin of Ham is paternal incest. In other words, Noah was sexually abused by Ham in his drunken state. Genesis 9:24, Noah saw what his son had done to him, would on the surface seem to suggest this. But the phrase, "he saw the nakedness of his father," is an idiomatic expression for sexual intercourse. But again, if Ham sexually violates his father, why isn't Ham cursed? Why Canaan, his fourth son? Well, there's a better view than all of these, and for that we must go to Leviticus 18. The context here is Yahweh telling Israel all types of sexual practices to abstain from, that were practiced both in Egypt, where they were, and in Canaan, where they're going. So Leviticus 18, we're going to start reading in verse 6. It says, "None of you shall approach any of his close relatives to uncover nakedness. I am the Lord. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father, which is the nakedness of your mother. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is your father's nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your sister, your father's daughter, or your mother's daughter, whether brought up in the family or in another home. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, for their nakedness is your own nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, brought up in your father's family, since she is your sister. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's sister. She is your father's relative. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, for she is your mother's relative. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's brother. That is, you shall not approach his wife. She is your aunt. But you shall not uncover the nakedness of your daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife. You shall not uncover her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your brother's wife. It is your brother's nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter, and you shall not take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness. They are relatives. It is depravity. So the idiomatic expression to see relatives' nakedness or uncover nakedness are slightly different verbs, see and uncover, but the meaning is similar. The intent here is sexual relations. Look again at Leviticus 18:8. It says, "You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is your father's nakedness." I believe what we have here in Genesis 9 is not a homosexual relationship, but rather a heterosexual relationship. To uncover or to see the nakedness of your father actually means don't mess with his wife. In this culture, the nakedness of a man is defined as the woman that belongs to him. To us, it sounds very confusing, but if you understand the idiom, it makes sense. So Ham has a maternal incest with his mother. The product of this union is Canaan, and this is why Noah curses this illegitimate child. Ham took advantage of Noah being passed out drunk. This takes place in Noah's tent, but Noah's wife could certainly be in there. But according to the original Hebrew, it probably should have been translated her tent. I'm not a Hebrew scholar, but it has to do with the feminine suffix on the noun. But either way, I guess Noah could have been in that tent too. But by Ham's choice to do this, it was an attempt to usurp Noah's authority by raising up competitive seed through his father's wife. And Noah's curse on Canaan cuts off this child from receiving any of the inheritance or leadership, thus voiding what Ham attempts to create. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something. Please subscribe and give a thumbs up. The topics on this channel are difficult and sometimes there's a difference of opinions, but that's okay. Be blessed, be encouraged, and I'll see you in the next video.